If you're still in fear if conversational hypnosis is for real or need to master the basics, then you'll be flush with joy after you read this article. First, let's take a look at some definitions and meanings. Just what exactly is hypnosis? Well, the definition of hypnosis is ignore of the critical factor and establishment of acceptable selective thinking. So this is what one of the official definitions is. Now, what exactly does that mean? Okay. The critical factor is the part of the conscious mind that protects the subconscious mind from accepting discordant suggestions. For example, if you've been told that you are a millionaire, your critical factor would analyze this information, compare it to current beliefs and memories, and then reject it. Outside of course, that you are a millionaire. But in a state of hypnosis where we avoid the critical mind, the suggestion passes through exactly to the subconscious mind, and since there is no declining by the critical factor, it becomes a new acceptance, and you would begin to act and experience like a millionaire, and really genuinely think you are. However, simply bypassing the critical mind isn't enough. You must also be led into a narrowed focus of attention. That's the establishment of acceptable selective thinking part. Why acceptable? It's not viable to directly violate core values of a person. That simply means that if someone were to hypnotize you and suggest that you go kill someone, if killing people violates your core value, you'll simply ignore the suggestion or more than likely, quote-unquote, snap out of the hypnotic state. Make sense so far? So traditional hypnotic inductions need mutual agreement by the subject, controlled environment, confidence in the hypnotist, and conscious course of action on the part of the subject. A few hypnotic inductions don't call for the last part. In a classical hypnotherapy section, a hypnotist guides the subject in a relaxed hypnotic state and then suggests new behaviors and so on. So then what is conversational hypnosis? Well, conversational hypnosis is also narrowing of one's focus and bypassing the critical factor, although it's done with the subject's eyes wide open and thoroughly conscious, although without his or her knowledge. It's essentially creating change in a person in a very unconscious way. This is done through contrasting linguistic and nonverbal techniques and requires individual measures to be effectively implemented. Note that not all of the stepping stones are necessary every time, and that individual measures can be established instantly sometimes. Stepping stones to accomplish successful conversational hypnosis will be covered now. Step 1. Get the person's attention and hold it. This is obviously fundamental, as you'll need their attention to guide them in an acceptable and open state of mind. Step 2 is to establish rapport. Now, rapport is basically defined as increased unconscious responsiveness. In essence, it's that golden feeling of connection you sometimes have when you're having an intense conversation with someone you like. Step 3, induce trance. This is the part where you exploit specific language to get a person in an acceptable state of mind very close to a hypnotic trance, although with eyes open and with full consciousness. Note that sometimes we go into such states automatically. To illustrate, when an authority figure or an expert on something teaches us something new, very seldom do people question things critically. They just accept the new facts as the truth. It's the same idea that applies with the news we see on television. Most people do not watch the news critically, although just agree with what's said is true. Is this making sense a little bit now? Step 4 is to present your suggestions. Now this is where you start feeding their subconscious mind with suggestions you need to stick. Many techniques of conversational hypnosis are developed to present suggestions in such a way that they're not analyzed or even noticed by the conscious mind. Essentially, you don't always really have to induce a trance in a person, although it helps. So, here are ingredients of conversational hypnosis. There are also some more advanced measures you can take, although these are the basics. Now, you may be wondering how long it takes to go through all these steps, and it really depends on the skillfulness. However, it can be as little as a few seconds or just a few cautiously selected words said with the right and proper tonality and backed by applicable body language. It's really quite elementary once you know and learn the structure and philosophy of many techniques that accomplish all the steps in a single sentence. These are very stealth, below-the-radar kinds of things affecting the conscious mind. For more information, visit the Conversational Hypnosis website dedicated to the fascinating world of hypnosis at conversationalhypnosis.net.